The pressure is rising, the favorites are falling, and World Cup is entering its most exciting stage.
Nice
Hello,
catch.
everybody. So welcome back to another episode about the World Cup 2026. This is that one time of the year when the world just completely comes to a stop every 4 years. And now I'm going to pass this on to my father-in-law. So Babaji, do you really want to go ahead and talk about, what is it about the World Cup that puts the world to a stop and everyone is just sitting down, ready to watch the games, and it goes on?
Thank you, Alina. And also we have Lani today with us.
Hi.
So yes, it should be a very interesting, podcast today because, as you said, the world is totally engrossed in this sport, and it does happen once in 4 years. And to me, it's such a simple game. It's so beautiful. It does not require too many stuff like many other sports does. I think that's the biggest appeal. The game being very simple. And it's very affordable because us coming from Bangladesh, particularly myself, we have seen people playing with not even a regular football. To give you some context, why it's so popular, because it's easy to play. It's not something where you need a lot of equipment like many other sports.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons. And since it is so easy to play and easy to you basically need any kind of field to just start a game, right? And it does not have a language barrier. It does not need too much of information for players, like rules and stuff like that. So I think that's the main reason it's so popular globally. That's the short answer of it, that it's a very easy and simple game.
And do you think it is as popular in North America as it is for us here?
Yeah, let me take it first, and then maybe some of you can also chime in here. I mean, people will debate on this thing, but I definitely think it's not as popular. But North America also has few countries like Mexico is not the same as USA, and Canada is not same as the USA because Mexico has a football culture, unlike its neighbors on either side, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing, like if we talk about specifically say USA, right? We don't live in Canada, so I can speak for USA. My personal understanding is that my two sons have also played football here, right? And so at the elementary level, middle school level, even high school level, this game is pretty popular. But America also has many other sports. For many boys and girls, they also take to those sports like football and basketball and baseball, not even athletics and swimming and stuff like that. So there was a saying few years back that I heard that there's also limited TV time. All of these sports are very commercial. You cannot just have an international sport without proper sponsors, right? So in America, this is not really third or fourth sports even. So that's one of the reasons. But having said that, yes, the younger people at the school level and even college level, they play. Okay, older people, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and people like that, that definitely you would see more in the immigrant population, right? Because all of us who have come, including us, we have that, feeling for the game. And wherever it is, we try to go and watch, even at the school level for kids and stuff like that. So people say that it's increasing in popularity, but when it competes with other sports, I think it will take time.
Yeah, and I know the two of you have recently been to a game, right?
Yeah.
So, Apni, do you want to go ahead and just talk about your experience there?
Yeah, definitely. So it was actually very, very last minute. I've been looking at tickets for the past many months, including talking to, close friends and cousins who have been, religiously applying for the lottery for the past many months. And so for me, it was a very last minute decision. The prices, as everyone knows, quite frankly, have been super expensive, right? So it's not affordable to a lot of people, which is the unfortunate piece of this entire game. A lot of people can't afford to go to a game. That's just the harsh reality. But actually, I think we went on a Wednesday, and on Tuesday morning, I did not have the tickets, right? And so I'm in a global WhatsApp community with the Bengali community globally. And so someone posted that they had 2 tickets they were selling on Tuesday morning. So I immediately messaged him while I'm on work calls, and he messages me back, and the price is something I'm not going to pay for, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me just go online and look one last time. So I literally went on StubHub or SeatGeek or one of those websites, and I got tickets. I'm not going to share the price here, but for a very reasonable price. And so as I'm on a work call, I'm like panic purchasing this ticket to get through to the very end. And I also heard from a lot of friends who had gotten tickets online, there's a lot of, not scams, but like there's a lot of technical issues that have come up. So I didn't know if it was like real or not. So anyway, long story short, I cut to the chase. I get the 2 tickets and I called Baba and I'm like, we're going to the World Cup tomorrow, right? And it was the France game, it was France and Sweden. Yeah. And I know that France is a team that Baba has always also supported pretty strongly. And so, yeah, just got super lucky. The prices were, again, I'm not going to say affordable, but much more reasonable than what I had seen. And so made a super game time decision, took off of work super last minute. And I mean, we can get into it more as to both of our experiences there. But, I'm not a huge sports girl. Baba knows that. But I think growing up in the family, I think the World Cup has always held a special sentimental value because I always saw my dad and my brothers watching it growing up. I always saw my extended family watching growing up. There were summers where we were in Dhaka, I think many years ago when I was growing up, where I saw my mamas. And so I've always culturally and in the family seen it as like a very celebrated sport. But I think this year, especially living a couple miles from the stadium, working in New York, in the era of Mamdani, where there's all these like public viewings, like it's just the energy is very real, right? And it's unlike any other year that I've experienced. Like I've watched, many matches with friends and colleagues. Like this is not something that's common here. Yeah. American football, some of these other sports, baseball, totally different ball game, right? But football, like true global football has never seen this kind of passion in America. And so being there live in that stadium of, I think it was 88,000 people. We were joking. We were like, we were the two last. Yeah. So to be in that kind of a stadium with 88,000 people, that kind of energy is completely unmatched. So once in a lifetime, and to be able to go together and like spend the day with my dad. And it was just a really, really special memory that I'll probably always hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah. So that does bring me into my next question. When did you start like even following football?
Well, when I was very young, as I was saying, it's such a simple game. Most young kids in most of the world do play football because it's just a ball and you start rolling it and you're kicking it and you start playing, right? So it started very early on. It was a very popular game, and so playing, watching was around the same time. Then we would have like local leagues in Bangladesh and whatever. See, the important thing is that a country like Bangladesh does not have a decent team, right? That in no way means that the game is not so popular. That is the beauty of this game that I'm trying to make.
No, Baba, I was just going to say, I think the accessibility of the game has come such a long way, right? Like people like Baba who have lived, many years more than I have, he can speak to the evolution of how he's listened to and watched and experienced the game and the commentary, right? Like I learned what commentary was from cricket and from football growing up, right? Because I always heard Baba listening to commentary. And so now for the sport to be so accessible, even for people who can't go to the stadium and watch it, and I think that's part of the beauty of being in New York. Like there's been so many free public showings and viewings, and it's really just brought the city together in a really new and beautiful way.
Just one point in general, like radio commentary that I said is so romantic. You know why? Because you don't see the field. So whether it's cricket or football or any other sport, you visualize. Even before I had been to any big stadium in the world, which I had the chance of going to watch few games, cricket and football here and there, I could visualize, oh, this is Lord, this is the end. Because the commentary was so like, almost like you visually see, but that is no longer there. Now it's TV and whatever, So TV did a huge thing in, you're saying following. So that's when following started. Following first is like local teams and whatnot, and gradually the international teams, and you learn more about World Cup, and that's right.
And even we joke around about like that the Spanish channels who play these games or who show the games and who provide the commentary, like how much more emotion there is in the way they say goal, right? Goal. It's just not the same with like an American broadcaster.
You can feel the passion.
Right.
You can feel the passion in this game. So yes.
Yeah, and like more on like a personal level and like talking about passion. Who do you support?
Well, from a very, very long time, I would have to, justify, or not justify, say why I support a team, right? As I said, the Bangladesh does not have a decent team to support the FIFA level, right? We do play football in Bangladesh also, but we don't have it. So from like myself, many other people in different parts of the world where they don't have a team representing them in FIFA, they support one of the bigger teams, smaller teams, whatever you have. So from a very young age, maybe, I don't know, 50 years back or so, I started supporting Argentina because those were the days of Maradona, right?
Argentina.
There was no Messi then, right?
Yeah.
This is the previous generation, 20 years before Messi and stuff like that. So that's where it started, and then people will ask, okay, why do people in Bangladesh support Brazil or Argentina? That is a passion of the game. So I can talk more about that, but I don't want to digress. But that's where it started. And yes, like Lani was saying earlier, I also do support France and England and some other teams, but that's in order. But again, you have to still keep things in perspective. At the end of the day, sport is sport, game is game. It is not life.
Yeah, and like, how would you compare, Maradona with Messi or even like Pele with Neymar?
Well, that's a very good question. That actually comes in every sport. I talk about cricket because I come from that part of the world. It happens in cricket also, and commentators will ask questions to experts, not myself, people who are experts in the game. My take on that is you really should not be comparing, but there's so many things that are not comparable. Like if you're comparing one player or even an actor or whoever from one generation to another generation, that's not fair, right?
Right.
Things were so difficult, technology, this and that, the way, TV has evolved, how, people know more about the game. When we heard about Pelé and whatever, we just heard the name. Maybe my father used to follow whatever, but maybe audio commentary. So more when you see these things and when you have an opportunity to watch them, we are not coming to US to watch those things, right? So you get more understanding of these things. So that's where it started, basically.
Yeah, the history is so beautiful, right? Because, and even, I've had to explain to people over the years, and Baba, you know this better than I do, but like, why is Bangladesh so passionate about these two teams?
Right, but Bangladesh is not the only country.
Right. But just because that's where we're from, right? And people have always been like, because growing up, I saw Baba supporting Argentina growing up in the house for many, many years, right? So people would always be like, how is he such a diehard, fan? And I think the truth is a lot of, especially for third world countries like Bangladesh, like obviously we have much less funding, it's no secret, than countries like America, right? That's not a secret. And the funding that we do have, I think, truly to this day, still goes towards sports like cricket, right? Like that's where we have a fighting chance. And so that's where the country is going to keep providing sponsorship and financial to support the up and coming youth, right? So I think hopefully, inshallah, one day we get there, right? Like to see Bangladesh one day compete would be absolutely a dream.
Absolutely.
But again, I want to touch about that point again, like, why people like myself, millions of other people around the globe support some other team, which is not your own country, is because kind of what we said. And we do not have the option of, seeing our team in the global platform. And because of the thing that I mentioned earlier, the game is so simple, people really enjoy this game. Hence the passion. It's very hard to explain this. Although you didn't ask, but I'll say a few things about these things. Argentina-Brazil rivalry in Bangladesh. Not in Argentina, not in Buenos Aires, not in, or Sao Paulo or somewhere, but in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, Chittagong, where they paint whole buildings, one with Argentina color, another with, Brazil color.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things. They're having fun, they're playing games, they're, singing songs and whatnot. They take it to such a level that they actually physically fight.
Yeah. And I've even seen actually in some of the matches here that have been hosted this year, whether it's Argentina or Brazil playing, there's Bangladesh flags in the audience, right? And that's not just like representing Bangladeshi pride, it's to make a statement, right? So to Baba's point, that passion is so deeply rooted. There's so much history there.
Yeah, and like talking about that, right? I know you've been to a lot of like watch games in New York. Do you want to talk about the hype there? And
yeah, I mean, this is like all very new to me to the scale, right? Like I think, like I mentioned before, the stadium's a couple miles from my apartment. It's actually on my way home to my parents. But what Mamdani has done in New York
Is the stadium
City,
in New York or New Jersey?
It's in New Jersey. And this is one thing that my dad and I agree on, right? Like because this entire time they've been
Everyone say New York,
advertising as
New
New
Jersey.
York,
No,
New
it's
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Right? It's not New York, it's New Jersey. Come on. Let's give the credit where it's due. But obviously from a global marketing lens, I understand why the word New York is used. But anyway, all that aside, I mean, it's been wonderful just to see that. I think it started with the Knicks win, and actually the kickoff game of the World Cup that Saturday was the same day as
there was an overlap, actually.
the Knicks final, right? And I actually watched the Knicks final outdoors in New York, downtown, and it was just, again, a night in history I'll never forget.
You mean watch party?
A watch party. And to the point where there was a girl in a Brazilian jersey next to me, and, she was just there for the vibes, Brazilian girl, but didn't really, to the point where the Knicks game had started, and she was like, "Oh, do you know if Brazil won the match?" And I was like, "Honey, it was tied, and that ended an hour ago." But to answer your question, it's been really exciting. It's been really fun. It's been really accessible, right? And it's on top of the Knicks game. The reason I brought that up is because I think sports has taken the city to another level this summer. And like New York is just, it's lit.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing both of your experiences. And now just wanted to dive a little bit into like the conflict that has, shown up pretty recently with the Egypt versus Argentina, the most recent game. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
The VAR and just...
Yeah. So first thing first, right?
Yeah.
VAR is the video assisted referee. It's a combination of technology and a few people sitting in front of the video cameras inside a room, right? They're watching, slow motion and everything, the entire game. Referee's out in the middle on the field. So referee, as you know, like all of us, is just a human being. He has his technology through VAR. We need to understand that. We can debate, and I do not like everything that's going on in VAR. This is technology use, but whenever you have technology use, there will be things that will kind of conflict with what we see in our naked eye. Am I making that clear? So what happened in that Egypt goal is I was watching at home, and I was seeing that second goal that, mind you, Egypt was already leading Argentina 1-0. And then Egypt scored a second goal, and that was such a beautiful goal from back in Argentina, Egypt, defense area all the way.
Right.
Awesome, superlative goal, right? We all enjoyed that goal. Very soon the referee stops everyone and says that, okay, there'll be a VAR check. Honestly, I don't know a lot about VAR, but I did study a little bit to understand, what it is about. Because for my interest in the game, for my passion, not for this podcast, right? I wanted to know myself, what is it? What does it do? Okay, it's a technology. In this case, what happened, I think most people know now, is that there was a foul that happened way behind in the Egypt defense area. So that, to the naked eye of the referee, he did not notice, he did not see what have you, right? And then the Egyptian player and 2 or 3 players took the ball very beautifully and scored a goal. And then the whole world is seeing such a beautiful goal, and then you say it's not a goal. So obviously it will affect people. Obviously the natural instinct is, what is going on? There's no handball, there's no offside, the typical things. Why did the referee did not allow the goal?
Right.
So that's where the issue is. To the naked eye, even to myself, I was thinking like, wow, such a beautiful goal. Why is it disallowed? At that point, even while watching, I didn't understand that. So we may or may not like the VAR thing. The VAR thing says that when a move starts way behind, wherever it is, however far behind, and if there is some issue where the referee misses, the people behind the cameras, in front of the monitors, they are watching. They have all the clips. The referee doesn't have that. So they are seeing something happen. They stop and tell the referee by some communication that, hey, this is something that you need to look into. And then the referee goes and sees. So my point is, the referee in that case, my point, did not make a mistake. But the common perception is that that was a fair goal, that was disallowed. I don't want to go into anything else.
Yeah.
So my point is that this is not an easy thing.
Of course.
My request, if listens to me, is that please review these things. As I started in the beginning, that this is a simple game. This is a beautiful game. Don't make it complicated. This VAR thing is making it complicated, right? Most of us, 99% people thought it was a fair goal, right?
Yep.
And then you are overturning it, and it does not play well.
Right.
I am an Argentine supporter, you know that. But I thought that was a fair goal.
Yeah.
But then when you go to the rules book, then the referee is right. So where is the solution? The solution is not in this World Cup. Maybe in future they need to go back and talk about it. That is it making people happy? Or the spectators, not so much happy, making sense. So my
Does
point...
it feel fair?
Fair,
Right? Because
and my point was not even fair. My point was like, don't make the game complicated.
Right. And is it consistent,
it's a
right? Because
simple game.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, because otherwise then people start asking questions.
Yeah.
So by VAR and everything, the referee did not do anything wrong. But people will not accept that. People saw a goal being scored. You get it?
And I think it's hard because you're watching the game live. Like even yesterday, I was at a beer garden in Astoria, Queens, watching the England-Norway game.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's this huge buzz around Norway and the rowing and right, like it's created so much buzz. But I think when you watch, and there's probably like 600, 700 people in this venue, by the way, yesterday, right? Beautiful outdoors, I'd never been before. But the point to what you're saying before is the game is happening so quickly and you're watching real time and there's so much emotion involved, right? So when you see the goal and everyone's seeing and they're like, oh, amazing, we got the goal. And then the Norway goal, right? That was then rescinded. I think time and time again, this has happened this season. And I think the VAR situation adds a layer of complexity to...
Rani, that's what I was saying, that as far as I understand, I'm not an official or anything, right? I don't have any access. So FIFA, VAR, the authorities, they are fully aware of what's going on. But when the general public don't understand that, it's not that great. I say make the rules user-friendly, not user-friendly, spectator-friendly, so that people understand. Why do I have to go back and open the FIFA VAR rule book, right, to see? And if you open the rule book, you'll say it's okay. But who would do that? Why would a general person do that? It's obviously, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, and I like totally understand in terms of like there being certain rules, right,
Yeah.
that you have to follow.
Yeah.
But then I think for people, it's more of like, you know, just the human eye. Like, is the VAR being more strict with
Certain
Egypt
countries.
compared to Argentina, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they looking at it through that lens? But I think now it brings us to the $1 million question, right? Who will survive? Who will go home? Who do you guys think will win the World Cup FIFA 2026 this year?
So as we talk now, today is Sunday, July 12th, right?
One
The
week.
final is actually 1 week from today.
now,
And as of last night, we know all the 4 semifinalists. In my opinion, and the opinion of many people who follow the game, these are about the 4 best teams, right? And from now on, no matter which team I support, or I can speak for myself, really, really, any team can win.
I think Spain and France is a really exciting game, right? I think to see Spain beat Portugal was one thing on its own, and now to see Spain go head to head with France. I mean, obviously they're both phenomenal teams, but
Europe is in general strong, right? Out
for
of the
sure.
quarterfinals,
But I think relative to the teams that are now playing at this level, like if Spain were to advance to the finals, that would be incredible.
But again, like you were saying, who supporting is one thing, and thinking about who might win is another thing.
Yeah,
I told you
being
at the
more
outset that
logistic, logistical.
Argentina, but I honestly believe any team, Argentina can be beaten by England. Similarly, Spain and France, anyone can win. A lot of people are talking about a repeat of last World Cup of Argentina and France. That's possible, but also anything is possible as far as
It'd be fun if it was a different dynamic, I think, right?
And if it was between Argentina and France, who would go home and who
Again,
would
the same
take-
thing. I don't know if you remember last year's clash. No matter how much I supported one team, anyone could have won. It was a fantastic, once in a lifetime final.
Yeah.
The 4-3 win that basically Argentina had at the end. It was awesome.
I was just going to say, like, speaking on France, I mean, having been at that game live and, Mbappe is 27 years old, right? And I was telling, and I was telling him, like, even when he was subbing in, I think towards the very end of the game, maybe third or fourth quarter, he's played his part. He's done, he's switching. And the way that the crowd, the 88,000 people got up and cheered for him, I mean, it's incredible, right? And to have that level of success at such a young age of 27. So I think there's something there with France. If we see France advance, the crowd goes crazy for Mbappe. And watching, and we were sitting actually on the France goalie side, right, about the first half of the game. And I don't remember the stats. They kept sharing the stats, but the amount of goals, the amount of shots that he tried to take, right? Like the fact that they only got, I don't remember what the final score was. Did they score 3 or 4?
3.
But out of like upwards of 25, right? Just he keeps going and going and going. So I think there's something really exciting there. If France were to advance, I think the Mbappe population would absolutely
But
go nuts.
Stat-wise, I mean, as I said at the outset that I do support Argentina and Messi and whatnot, but on a real, I'm also a very realistic person. Mbappe has played, this is his 3rd World Cup. He's younger, like you were saying. He is 1 goal short of Messi all-time World Cup.
Incredible.
1 goal short. So Messi played at twice the number of matches roughly. So you can see where Mbappe might go. So Mbappe is something outstanding. Another player that you guys might not know the name of is Lamine Yamal. He's a Spanish player. He's 18, 19, another superstar in the making. He's a wonderful player. So we'll have a fantastic semifinal on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, but in this sport, like any other sport, you go to watch the teams. You also go to watch special players.
Yeah.
And so much of that, like even from England, right? Harry Kane. Like, I mean, there's so much of the fandom is around these like one or two players that are really carrying the weight of the team, and it's exciting to watch them.
Can I say one technical thing about you said you might
Go ahead.
regarding the France Argentina, not the France, sorry, England Argentina match. Only thing that I worry is that Argentina is not a very tall team. Right? So European teams are in general taller, so that has an effect when the ball comes high up with headers and whatnot. Argentina is not that great at doing it, and I was very, very disturbed last 2-3 games where we had to wait till the very end for Argentina to come through. It's good in a way that you're having tighter games, but it's also like, I don't know how much they can go and whatever. But let's all hope for
Like, will
nice
it continue the
semifinals
same?
in the end. Yeah, and the greater spirit of the sport lives on.
Okay. All right. So thank you all for watching, and thanks for having our special guest again,
Of course.
Miss Leilani Khan. But take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.